My wife cheated on me, and my first instinct was to give her flowers. Let that sink in. While some men would scream or throw her out, I met her at the airport with roses. This story originally came from Reddit, but I've stretched it out to show the full picture, because a lot of people don't realize how deep betrayal can go until you're living in it. Maybe someone watching this will learn something before it's too late. My name's Alex. I'm 41, and I've been married to my wife, Renee, for 13 years. We have 3 kids, a happy home, or so I thought. It started subtly. Renee works in consulting. She's always traveled for work, usually for 3 to 4 days a month. It was never an issue until a few months ago. Suddenly, she stopped taking my calls at night while away, claimed she was tired, busy, in meetings, video calls, bad Wi-Fi, and when she returned, it was like I was hugging a wall, distant, cold. She started locking her phone, flinching when I came near it. The signs were there, anyone could have seen them, but instead of confronting her, I reacted with love. That sounds pathetic, I know, but I thought maybe, just maybe, she was going through something. I didn't want to lose her, so when she got home from her last trip, I was at the airport holding flowers. The kids had made a card. I hugged her like it was the first time. She looked guilty. I brushed it off. That night, I cooked dinner, lit a candle, played her favorite music, and halfway through dessert, she looked at me and asked, "Why are you so good to me?" I didn't know what she meant. She put down her fork. Her hands trembled. Her eyes filled with tears. "I'm trying to push you away," she said. "And you're doing this." That's when she broke down. She confessed. She'd been having an affair with a younger colleague, the same guy she travels with. It had been going on for 4 months. I remember sitting there, numb. I didn't yell, didn't cry. I just existed. I even said, "If this is what you want, more power to you." Then I smiled, stood up, and walked into the living room to watch football. You ever watch your own life collapse and just go back to routine like it's nothing? That's what I did. And the worst part, I didn't feel anger, just emptiness. But that emptiness, it wasn't peace. It was the calm before something darker. The night after she confessed, she touched me, and I let her. Yeah, that's the part I still can't explain. If you're just joining, this story was pulled from Reddit and stretched out to show how betrayal doesn't always come with shouting. Sometimes it comes with silence, confusion, and a bed that still feels warm. My name is Alex. I'm 41. My wife, Renee, is 37. She cheated on me with a much younger guy from work. Her travel buddy, for months. Same hotel rooms, same flights, same bed. She confessed after I brought her flowers. That irony isn't lost on me. The next few days were strange. We didn't fight. We barely spoke. She stayed in the guest room. I stayed late at the office. At home, we kept it normal for the kids. Breakfasts, school, runs, cartoons. But in between those routines, there was this heavy silence. We weren't husband and wife. We were actors, roommates with matching rings. Then came last night. It was late. I had just come home from work, loosened my tie, poured myself a glass of wine. The kids were already asleep. The house was still, quiet. I walked into our bedroom just to grab a sweater, but she was there, waiting. She didn't say anything at first, just looked at me, vulnerable, desperate. Then she spoke. "I miss you." I said nothing. She walked up to me, touched my chest, slid her hands around my back. Her head leaned against me like nothing had happened. And still, I said nothing. Then she kissed me. You're probably thinking, why didn't you push her away? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I wanted to feel wanted. Maybe I needed to convince myself I was still her husband. Or maybe I wanted to see if she could feel my pain through the silence. Because I was silent the whole time. She was wild, desperate, like she was trying to erase what she did with someone else by doing it again with me. But here's the thing. Her body was here, but her guilt was louder than her moans. I could feel it. She wasn't trying to connect, she was trying to compensate. I let it happen, start to finish. Afterward, she curled up next to me and whispered, "We can fix this. I know we can." I didn't answer. I just stared at the ceiling, my chest hollow. My arms still around her, but my mind miles away. It wasn't intimacy. It was damage control. And even now, hours later, I still can't tell if I hate her or myself more. But I do know one thing. Something inside me cracked that night. Not from her cheating, but from how easily I let her back in. I thought the affair was the worst part until she apologized. Because when she finally did, I realized she wasn't sorry for cheating. She was sorry I found out. This is chapter 3 of a story originally pulled from Reddit. I've broken it down piece by piece, so that people can truly understand what emotional betrayal looks like from the inside. If you haven't watched the previous chapters, go back to see how we got here. I'm Alex. I'm 41. My wife, Renee, cheated on me with her younger coworker. They shared hotel rooms during work trips. 4 months of lies. She confessed. I didn't explode. I didn't beg. I didn't cry. I just sat with it. Then, days later, she touched me. We slept together, not in love, just in confusion. And afterward, I waited for her to say something that would help me make sense of what was happening. She waited until the next night. The kids were asleep. She made tea for both of us and asked if we could talk. Her voice was soft, measured, like she had rehearsed this in her head. I want to start by saying I'm sorry, she said. I stayed quiet. I know I hurt you. I know I broke something that can't be fixed overnight. Still, I said nothing. But I need you to understand, I didn't mean for it to go that far. It started as flirting, and I was feeling neglected. It just happened. That line. It just happened. Cheating doesn't just happen. You don't accidentally book the same room with someone. You don't accidentally turn off your phone at night. You don't accidentally do it for 4 months. What she was doing wasn't apologizing. She was explaining, justifying, minimizing. And that hurt more than the cheating itself. Because at least the cheating was real, physical, tangible, something I could process. This was manipulation. I looked at her, calmly. And for the first time, I spoke. If I had done what you did, would you still be sitting here offering me tea? She blinked. That's not the same, she whispered. Exactly. Because she never really saw me as equal. I was the husband who made things work. The father who stayed grounded. The provider. The one she could confess to because she knew I wouldn't break anything. She thought kindness meant weakness. And that's when something shifted inside me. Not rage. Not revenge. Just clarity. She kept talking. But I stopped listening. I knew then that whatever came next, I couldn't let her lead the way anymore. Her guilt couldn't guide my healing. That night, I slept on the couch. She cried in the bedroom. But for the first time since it all came out, I slept. Not peacefully, but honestly. And that was the beginning of a different version of me. One she hadn't met yet. The first person I told wasn't my brother or my best friend, it was her sister. And her response. It changed everything. This is chapter 4 of a real-life Reddit confession. Expanded so you can truly feel how betrayal can twist your world into something unrecognizable. If you've been watching from the beginning, you know this isn't just a story about cheating, it's about emotional survival. I'm Alex. I'm 41. My wife Renee is 37. She cheated on me with a younger coworker during their frequent work trips. 4 months of lies, hotel rooms, and turned off phones. She confessed. I reacted calmly, maybe too calmly. Then she touched me, seduced me, tried to rewrite our story with passion. I let it happen, but I knew something inside me was dying. And when she finally apologized, it wasn't even real. It was just excuses dressed up as regret. So I did something I hadn't done since this mess began. I told someone, her younger sister, Lena. Now, you might be wondering why her. Why not a close friend, or one of my brothers? Truth is, I needed someone who knew both of us. Someone close enough to understand what kind of person Renee really is, but far enough from me not to just take my side blindly. Lena came over to drop off a birthday gift for one of our kids. Renee wasn't home on another one of her so-called work errands. After the kids ran off to play, Lena sat at the kitchen table with me. I don't know what came over me, but I looked her in the eyes and just said, Renee cheated on me. Silence. Then a slow blink, like her brain was trying to reject the words. What? She whispered. I told her everything. The months of late-night dodging. The emotional withdrawal. The guy from work. The confession. Even the night Renee seduced me afterward. Lena didn't cry. She didn't yell. But I could see her whole face change. Then she said something I didn't expect. I knew something was off. She's been distant even with me. I asked her once if everything was okay between you two. She brushed it off. She paused. But I never thought she'd actually do something like this. And then came the kicker. Alex, listen to me. You didn't deserve this. You've always loved her harder than she knew how to handle. That's not weakness. That's rare. Her words hit me harder than Renee's confession. It was the first time someone saw me. Not just the quiet, calm husband, but the man who was really trying to hold something broken together. I didn't cry in front of Lena. But the moment she left, I went into the bathroom, locked the door, and cried into a towel. Not because I was hurt, but because for the first time, I didn't feel crazy. I wasn't overreacting. I wasn't weak. I was just human. She looked me in the eyes and asked, do you still want this marriage? And I realized I had already answered that question. Not with words, but with silence, distance, and the part of me that had already let go. This is the final chapter of a true Reddit story we've stretched out to reveal how betrayal cuts deeper than most people ever admit. If you've watched from the beginning, thank you. And if this is your first time here, go back to chapter 1. You'll understand why the end hits like this. I'm Alex, 41. My wife, Renee, 37. She cheated with a younger coworker for 4 months. She confessed, seduced, apologized, and tried to rebuild something that she herself had set on fire. But what she never expected was that I wouldn't yell, that I wouldn't beg, that I'd just become distant. That's what scared her the most. And last night, after the kids had gone to bed, she sat across from me on the edge of the couch. Her hands were folded, her lips trembling. Alex, she said quietly, do you still want this marriage? There was a time I would have grabbed her hand. A time when I would have begged for us to try counseling, fought for our kids, swallowed my pain. But that version of me, he died the moment she kissed someone else and then kissed me like nothing happened. I looked at her, really looked, and for the first time in weeks, I didn't see my wife. I saw a stranger who was afraid of being alone. You don't miss me, I said. You miss what I gave you, stability, safety, forgiveness. She started crying again, the same tears I had seen before, but this time, I wasn't moved. I'm not angry anymore, I added. I just don't feel anything. That's when I knew my answer. I don't want this marriage, not because I hate her, but because I finally love myself enough to walk away from what broke me. And maybe that's the real ending here. Not dramatic, not loud, just honest. Now I want to hear from you. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Could you forgive after an affair like this? Is emotional detachment worse than rage? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read all of them. And if this story hit you deep, if it made you reflect on your own relationship, or even just kept you watching till now, hit that subscribe button. I post real stories like this every week straight from Reddit, reimagined to help people learn, feel, and maybe even heal. Thanks for watching. And to anyone out there who's been cheated on, you're not weak, you're not stupid, you just loved someone who didn't love you right.